Kilphe finally got her EX job in War of the Visions. When she was released, she was one of the best units because she had a combination of high starting AP, natural bulk, good damage, and then the ability to support her team with healing or tanking capabilities. Even today, she's still kind of a Swiss knife unit, and with the extra stats she gets from her EX job, I think she becomes a very good one. But the thing is, there are so many good other Earth options that it might be hard to fit her in a team. Are you going to take out your Catone, your UR Zazan, your Noctis, or your Oberon for her, or even Luel? I don't know. And so we'll take a look at what she gets and in which scenarios she might be a really good choice, and just whether or not she's worth the blossoms. Now, if you are not a very old player, let's quickly cover why she's strong. She is a character that can generate both physical and magical barrier, only one type at a time, but that gives her quite a bit of versatility. She's naturally more bulky towards physical, though, because she has high defense and good resistances, so it's easy to build them very highly. She has a unique thing, which is that her limit break decreases magic type resistance, so that's really good in a team with other mages, because she's going to just enable your damage all the way through. And then she is a very short range attacker. All her moves are short range. She can increase her mobility herself a little bit, but outside of that, she is not going to get very far and deal damage. She's got a guaranteed hit, again, very short range. She can potentially heal or be a spellblade, increase your magic resistance, and then generate some hate. So she's got a couple of options. I would say she's rather AP hungry, and the reason being her LB is by far her highest damage option, and you usually want that on, but it takes a huge chunk of her AP away. And she starts with half the AP bar full, like those red mages or Kododama wielders, so she doesn't have as much as some other mages to begin with. She is weak to Pierce, which might also be a bit of an issue with Oberon running around, but if you have time to put your barrier up, you will still survive at least one hit coming from him. Now, if we look at her stats, Kilphe definitely keeps her tanky mage archetype, compared to Glaciala Regalia and more, who I consider to be very tanky mages that can take a couple hits before going down. She's got significantly more HP at 3800 over their 3100. She's got a little bit less magic at 484, so don't expect those explosive one-shot kind of damage. I think she'll deal significant damage, but she's much more of a bruiser than a attacker, in my opinion. She's got 10 defense and 4 spirit. It's quite possible to get her to be quite bulky against either physical or magical, but I don't think she can get bulky enough to tank both very well. She's got some lightning resistance, naturally, I mean, she's an earth unit, and then good overall resistances, slash resistance, missile resistance, and magic resistance, but some weakness to pierce and strike, and these are more popular, especially if you're fighting a Tifa who can break the barrier. She'll just completely obliterate your Kilphe, even if she would have other good stats. Kilphe also doesn't have really good status effect resistances. Silence is relevant for her, and then Toad, but it doesn't protect her against the disables, the stops, the charm, so you have to be careful when you're using her. Kilphe is also quite a bit slower than these other options, so outside of her high HP, I don't think she's got any major edge in terms of stats. Now, her EX upgrades are quite interesting. The first one she gets is 40 Spirit Penetration, which is kind of a must right now. If you want to deal damage, you need either some Defense Penetration or Spirit Penetration. Otherwise, you can easily face enemies with 50 and over Spirit, and then you just can't deal good damage to them. So she gets that, that's good. Then her Energy Buster, which is an AoE guaranteed hit attack that she had in her main job, becomes an instant cast ability. That's a good upgrade, but considering how fast Kilphe was casting, it didn't happen that often that enemies would walk out of this, so I don't know if that's the best upgrade for her, but it is an instant cast 220 mud guaranteed hit ability, which will be very good, especially if you can catch many enemies in it. Then her new bonus ability boosts only herself, but it increases her magic attack by 25, decreases her AP consumption, and increases her defense. That is a lot packed in a single skill. And especially, as I said, she was very AP hungry with her attacks. That Energy Buster costs 40 AP, her limit break costs even more, so she quickly bursts through that. That is a really good buff to have. The thing is, on turn 1, she will put on her own barrier, so you need at least 2 turns to buff if you want to be able to use that. In short maps, it will not happen, and then that's another kind of wasted EX upgrade. So I think she'll need kind of a larger map to shine well, because that will give her the time she needs to prepare. I did create a simple build to test what that would look like, and we have the results on screen. She is paired with Earth partners with the VCs that we have on screen, and I've used the Golem Esper for her to increase her tankiness a little bit. We end up with a 7300 HP unit with 47 defense and 23 spirit that can then put on barriers on top to be even more tanky. So can she take 2 to 3 hits before going down? Yes. Will she one-shot enemies? Clearly not. She's got only 1000 magic. It's good. It's probably enough to take them out in 2 hits, but it is not a attacker material, right? We see units with upwards of 1400 right now when they want to deal top tier damage. I think still she can fit very well in a rainbow team if you especially want to imperil the magic resistance, since the only other unit that can do that in the game is Glacial Regalia, and that's in one of her specific sub-jobs, so it really puts her in a niche if you want to have access to that. Otherwise, she will also work well in Earth teams, but as I've put it before, while I think she would be good, I don't know if I would want to run her over Luel or Ketone or any of the other top-tier Earth units. So if you already have those, Kilphe is definitely not a must. I think she's a nice unit to have in some scenarios, but unless you really want that extra bulk, she doesn't really bring anything that unique to the mix for Earth. Overall, I think it's very hard to recommend to EX her, and the reason for that is she just doesn't really do anything better than any of the other Earth options currently available. Earth is really stacked with good units, so if you have an older account and you've already got a very strong Earth roster, she's just not needed. The only one unique aspect she has is her limit break, and decreasing magic resistance is kind of niche. Right now I find that we have more of element exclusive teams rather than rainbow teams, so unless you want to run her in a rainbow squad, she might not be the best character for you. If you do want to run a rainbow mage squad, then I think she's really strong, so that would be a good option for you. So yeah, overall verdict, she is very fun, and she will be able to shine in a couple scenarios if you build her, but she is definitely not necessary and definitely not meta changing. So, you know, plan accordingly. If you have the spare blossoms, sure, go ahead. If you don't, though, you don't have to EX her at all. My personal intention is to not EX her immediately. I want to do it one day when the game gives me enough blossoms that I can EX any unit I want, but for now she'll be alongside Rain and Yerma and those units that I would love to if I had the resources, but just can't afford to right now. So hopefully you guys found this interesting, and it gives you some insight on whether she's a good investment for your account or not. If you did enjoy the video, please like and subscribe, and then as per usual, thank you again, and have a great rest of your day.